Hey guys, welcome back to Spoodcast with Laena and Lauren. Today it is just Laena, and I do have Amy from Amy Keeps Arachnids here to keep me company, and also back by popular demand, but no pressure, Amy. I'm curious, what is the oldest tarantula? Do you know that?
Ooh, I know that they can live up to like 30 years. Some females, not the males typically. Their life's mission is to, eat and then breed and then that's kind of it. But the females are often, they live easily twice as long, if not 3 times as long than most males do. Depending on the species. I think also the slower growing species are the ones that live the longest, which kind of makes sense because it takes them so long to grow up.
Like a night kite?
Yeah, exactly. The Chilean flame rum tarantula. Oh my God, they're so cute. I feel like everyone should have one, just like a starter Pokemon, like a starter tarantula. They're so cute and they're so funny. And like they do the digging thing that we talked about before where they'll like step the dirt up. Mine just dug the deepest, craziest burrow. But anyways, they take forever to grow and then like they'll molt and you'll look at it and be like, it got smaller, I think. It's crazy. But so then like you can look at this tiny thing that's like the size of like, let's say like a good 3/4 of an inch, but it could be like 3 years old.
Wow.
It kind of blows the mind a little bit when you're used to like the lifespan of a jumping spider, which is so short.
Yeah, I just Googled it and just, the same as jumping spiders. I can't tell how big they are from the pictures because
I know. It's hard to tell without like scale,
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any oteosis? That's how
I
you say it,
just
right?
got a couple.
From where? From where?
From Danny's Arachnids.
Oh, what are they? I7?
One's I5 and one's I7.
Okay.
But they're siblings.
Oh,
as far as I know.
Yeah, because I just got my first 4. So I think I remember Danny's. Are those like the Florida variant?
I believe so, yeah, because she's in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. Leave it to jumping spiders to make Florida seem like heaven. I always just thought of Florida as like where people go to die.
It really seems like the worst of the worst things go down in Florida. But clearly, I had some of my best childhood memories vacationing there. So, like, there's that.
I've never been there.
A nerdy thing to say.
If anyone's in Florida, I'm sorry.
Too. Yeah, dude. Me too. I don't know anything actually about Florida. Like at its core and its soul. You know what I mean? Like truly.
I also gotten to the point where when there's bad weather in Florida, I'm like, oh no. Somebody's got to think of the children, Okay, so I did some Googling. You're not allowed to Google in the background though, Amy. I found out the oldest spider. Do you want to guess?
Is it?
You have to guess.
48.
Dude, that's so close. Wait, how did you what? Yeah, it's super close. 43.
Damn, man. 43.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
You were right. It was a girl. Do you want to guess what her name was?
Oh, I mean, like, what I need to know.
Her name was number 16.
Oh, damn.
Like
number 16?
Yeah.
She should be number 1 because she was the oldest.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I just thought that was such a nice name for such a beautiful girl. But
did it say this was species?
Yeah, so this was in Western Australia. Again, her name is number 16. She was born in 1973 and she died in 2016, and she was a wild female trapdoor spider. It says number 16 did not die of old age, but was most likely killed by a parasitic wasp sting. She was murdered
by a wasp.
She was murdered.
Wasps are the worst.
What a dick. It says that she spent her entire life in the same burrow, which is typical for her species. Sorry. Anyway, but it says for over 40 years, her status was monitored either 6 monthly or annually.
Damn, man.
Yeah, and then as she became older, researchers developed a tradition of always checking her burrow first when they visited the site.
That's so cool that they like kept track of where she was and all of that. That must be so like, yeah, that's really cool.
Oh no, it gets okay. Last thing.
Oh,
So
bad details.
her
Spooky.
burrow was in disrepair and the spider missing. The silk plug of her burrow had been pierced by a parasitic spider wasp, suggesting that she had been parasitized either before or after death. And then the quote, she was cut down in her prime. It took a while to sink in, to be honest.
Oh, oh man. That's
Oh,
so sad. Number 16,
baby.
RIP. So watch
Oh,
out for those wasps, everybody.
I think we should make a change.org and like she should be number one.
I agree. We should change it. But
Dot
she is
org.
number one.
We could Google the researcher that was sad and be like, hey,
You know what we're
you
going to do
know?
for you, buddy?
Wait, so
Yeah.
is it just the Oreo butt spider that does the butt? Or is it all trapdoor spiders that do the butt?
I think
Like,
it's
and by that I mean like close the or make a door with their butt.
so like it's just the Oreo butt spider that does it. And I'm sure that there are like more than one species
Mm.
of the Oreo butt. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm
like
sure there's
double
like
stuff.
variants of it. Yeah, exactly. But I also learned recently that they're in the same, so they're megalomorphs and so are trapdoors, even though they're called,
Mm.
I guess they're called spiders, but they're not actually spiders. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely certain. But either way, some trapdoors like make those cool, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a circular thing. And it's like, it almost
Mhm.
looks like there's little like ropes coming off of it. And you barely ever
Oh.
see them except for when they're grabbing their prey.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like they'll
Huh.
come out like in the blink of an eye and grab it. They can like feel it like
Interesting.
walking above them, you know?
Huh. So they just
Um,
like their whole lives they just shoot ropes and eat.
I think so, man. Like that's like fighter's life. Okay, I had another thought. Now that I'm a year into keeping jumping spiders,
Mm.
I've noticed like how much their colors change and vary, like not only from molt to molt as they grow, but also from mom to like mama to mama. You know, like I've got like
Oh.
some babies from dark phase regal mom who are like showing orange and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about like, because you've been doing this a little longer than I have, like,
Mm.
what have you noticed as far as that stuff goes? Like, is it just like, because it's something I'm trying to kind of figure out. Like, it seems like a lot of people don't really know, like,
Yeah.
how they get their colors, I
Oh god, like
guess.
the you mean genetics or
Yeah, pretty much. And just like, yeah, genetic.
yeah. God, I wish I knew. I know. Well, I was always under the assumption like if it's white phase then it has a better chance.
Right.
Or things like that, like as far as the parents. But at the same time, like I have ton of babies from hi white mom and dad, and they just I don't know how to explain. They're like not orange at all. They're kind of just like gray. It's
Like,
weird.
yeah, yeah.
They look kind of silvery. Like
Interesting.
I think if anything, and we've mentioned this before on other episodes, but like it just really highlights the importance of like being wary of any seller. I'm gonna call him a seller that like will be white
Yeah.
basically, especially one out of an entire clutch.
So
I
true.
don't
It's
know.
so true. It's like, it reminds me a lot of like cats. It's like they have a whole litter and
Mhm.
there'll be this totally random mix of both their parents,
Yeah,
you
and they
know?
didn't cheat on each other or anything. Like it just is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something I've been so curious about ever since I started and
Hmm.
even still now, because like I've raised up a whole bunch and I'm just like, how are you orange? And like, you look so cool. And like, like, I don't know. It'd be so interesting to like really know, you know,
Hmm.
like I'm sure maybe arachnologists maybe know,
Yeah.
you know, this type of stuff. But even though it seems like there don't seem to be a ton of clean cut answers to a lot
Mhm.
of these questions, the fact that so many of us are keeping them and observing them, and like there are keepers out there who like get so meticulous with the way that they raise them and track like molt to molt and their colors. And I think
Yeah.
that's so amazing. Like it's so cool how people do that. And I think
Hmm.
like only good things are going to come from this type of thing. You know, I'm just observing them and we're bound to learn a whole lot.
It's cool being around them so often. You can tell everything they're gonna do.
It's
You,
so true. Yeah.
do yours ever do the like if you have a skittish one? Do they ever do the like slow motion walking
Sometimes. Yeah.
and then like run?
Yep. And then they're like, oh my God. Today I was I was misting them and then just like I was just like having kind of a weird day today, and it was kind of perfect day to work with jumping spiders because, like, you know, you can kind of slow down and take your time and sort of zoom in and look at each one.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was like really kind of therapeutic for me today.
Hmm.
And, but there was this one that, like, accidentally, because like I spooked him opening up the container and he wound up like on the back of my hand. It was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, hi. And then he did the thing where he just backflipped Mission Impossible off my hand like multiple times. And I caught him and he's like, nope. And he would just jump again. And it was the
Yeah.
funniest thing. And we were doing this for like 60 seconds. And it was
Yeah.
it was hilarious to me just how intentional it was. It was just like, I am out of here.
Yep.
Fully out. It was so
Yeah.
funny.
That video I
It's
got
like,
of Tamflu, I'm not kidding. She ducked her head down. So they totally planned to. She
they
protected her
do.
neck.
You got to.
They understand that we only have two eyes too. I
They
know it.
have to, like, because and I wonder if that's where some of those head tilts come from, because they're like, where, you know what I mean? Like, they're just trying to
Where are your other
understand your
eyes?
face. Yeah. And they're like, what's those holes in the middle of your face? And like, where are your
Ooh,
fangs? You know what I mean?
those could be
Like,
eyes. Yeah.
yeah, they're probably just like, why is your face like that? I don't know. That's what it seems like. And from their
Yeah. Well,
perspective, I imagine it's like they just see all nose.
jumping spiders can see the moon, so they could see like the bugs and the hair in the nose.
Yeah. Oh,
So they,
no.
if they can see the nose hair, they probably think we're more like them.
That's
Because they're,
true.
yeah. So
They're
maybe
fuzzy.
like, maybe we should not do, well, I don't do anything with my nose, but if
Yeah,
you have
me
nose hair,
neither.
I think you should keep it so you can
Yeah.
make friends.
Yeah, there you go.
I have noticed that my spiders, the skittish ones, again, if you turn your head to look down, it's like
Hmm.
that, the funny, creepy videos where like the dog moves a couple steps and then stops.
Yep.
They do
Yep, yep,
that
yep, yep,
too.
yep.
They know when we're
Yeah,
not
man.
looking.
They really do. They are so smart.
Oh,
Cheeky is one of my favorite words to use too when it comes to spiders. I feel
ooh,
like it suits them so perfectly. Like today when I had Mission Impossible boy jumping off my hand multiple times, that was pretty funny.
I think what you told me earlier about your tarantula just having the time of his life in his water bowl is pretty great.
It's
Like,
it is pretty great. He's still chilling in there. He's just fully like, don't worry, there's no water in it. He's just like emptied it and filled it with dirt mostly. And
is it like muddy at all or damp at all? Or
you know, I think so, but it's hard to tell because it's kind of dark in here. No, he's just fully
mm.
chilling on it's like wet substrate,
Oh,
like
oh my
halfway
god,
up, and it's like a tiny deli cup, you know, like the one we keep
interesting.
baby jumpers in. Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
just, I'll try and get a picture because it's fun. It's like he reminds me of like he's like pretending he's in a little boat sailing away. There are
dude.
so many different scenarios you could come up with.
Yeah, that makes me wonder though, because like cats, for instance, like if there is a box or even duct tape
Hmm.
or not duct tape, but lines on the floor that look like a
Duct
bag.
tape.
Yeah, don't duct tape your floor. But no, did you see that? Like, what's his name? Maru, the cat. He went into the little outlines,
No
box outlines
way.
on the floor. Yeah, yeah,
Huh.
and they kept making them get smaller and smaller, and he would still try to fit in the outline.
And he
So it's
just
not
did it.
even. Yeah, I wonder if tarantulas are the same. Somebody,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah, they like to feel secure.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and be like in a
Mm-hmm.
confined, almost like tight space. Like, that makes them feel like, okay, nothing can get me from,
Mm-hmm.
any direction, basically.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what's going through his little not brain right now.
Yeah, one thing that's been cute about watching, I mean, it's not cute watching Orange Floof like inch towards
Yeah.
seniorhood, but she has become. Oh, I posted a video on Instagram today, but if I make a little cave with my hand, like suddenly she'll just go to sleep.
Oh, though she trusts you.
That's
Like,
cute.
it's so cute. Like, that's the thing. That was another interesting difference too between keeping tarantulas and keeping jumping spiders. Where with tarantulas, you have to form this kind of respect for them because they don't have that sense of you as a human the way that jumping
Mm,
spiders do. I don't think.
really?
Like, it's just, no, I really don't think so. Like,
Huh.
they can't even really see us, like they can
Yeah.
see, they can just like sense that like maybe they get used to like the habits of like when we come and drop food in and do maintenance and all that stuff. But like,
Mm,
I don't think that they can like get attached to us in any way.
yeah.
And they honestly like they don't give a shit. So like if
Yeah.
they're on you and you're trying to handle them and then like I told that story about Tina deciding to go poop on my hand and it's scaring me. And then I dropped her and like
Yeah.
she freaked out. I freaked out. And it's just one of those things where it's so interesting also as somebody who used to be and still is like does I do have like an inherent fear of
Hmm.
tarantulas still on certain
Yeah.
levels, like I have
Hmm.
some that still thoroughly intimidate me. And and I got my first old worlds too. So that's exciting.
We'll have to talk about that. Oh.
Yes. But like with tarantulas, I've noticed like a lot of times when I go to handle them, they're so like the only thing they do notice or care about is like
Mhm.
movement and sensing threat, So like a pink toe will usually like they're usually very like chill and calm and they're known to be pretty
Mhm.
docile. But like if you startle them or open their enclosure too quickly and they do that like thing and they'll like that still will like at least for me like that like will spook me. And it's
Yeah.
so interesting because like it's just for them like they just don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
And
Oh.
I don't know, it's just so interesting to kind of balance being afraid of them and simultaneously learning about their behavior and like having that the fear. It's been really
Yeah.
cool.
I think I learned that from Victor because he was kind of laughing about like tarantulas and their crappy eyes,
Hmm.
because they have like more than one eye, or I
Oh
mean,
yeah, they have.
more than two. More, they have more than two eyes.
I mean,
Like
not Cyclops.
I think from jumping spiders, I just kind of assumed that tarantulas would also have kick-ass eyesight, but I guess
Yeah,
not. So
they don't.
that's
Yeah, they use
why they're
like
so cranky.
that's one of the reasons. They're either really cranky or just like, I don't know. Sometimes just unpredictable because it's like hard to tell what
Mm.
they're thinking. And some of them just, I don't know, it's nuts. There's just so much
Yeah.
to learn.
Actually, on the other hand, too, not to just reference things that have been on here already, but Juice's description, he didn't say this, but have you seen the movie It Follows?
Shoot, I did a
That's an
long time
old
ago,
movie.
but I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I think I did. I was definitely wasted though. So I don't
Well, yeah.
remember.
Basically, I don't even remember what the thing was that was the scary thing, but
It
it
was it.
follows. Yeah, it
Yeah, it
follows.
followed.
It
And it
was,
did.
it
Was
was,
that the one where it was on the roof?
yeah, and just standing there.
That got me so good. I was like, this is gonna be
That,
so scary. And that's
this
probably
movie,
why
or
I drank so
I
much.
just, one thing I learned from Mr. Jucifer is that, and while he didn't mention this movie, it just reminded me of that movie, It Follows, because he basically was like, tarantulas when it comes to hunting are just kind of like, who is it, Michael Myers, not the actor, but the scary one.
Yes. Just following you, being like, I'm gonna get you.
Or just like standing there and being like, "Mm."
Yep. And being scary. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's how he described it. And
It's really interesting and it's really funny because they are just so like it was so useful when I learned the difference between like defensive behavior and a feeding
mm,
response for
yeah,
tarantulas. Yeah. There's like temperaments can totally vary like by
mm,
species and whatever. That's just how it is. but
Yeah.
you can kind of test their temperament, you know, and like oftentimes when they sense movement, like if they're hungry and not in primo, like that's food. I'm gonna figure out what that is, see if I can grab it. Like if they're so fast, it's kind of hard to like wrap your
Oh
brain
yeah.
around it. Sometimes I'm like, how
Mhm.
does that even work? It's so cool
Yeah.
to watch. You know, like you drop it in, and most of the time they're on it like faster than you can blink, and it's just like
Yeah.
the craziest thing. But either way, they have to move really quickly in order to accomplish that. And to someone who's scared of spiders, or I shouldn't say I'm still scared of them because I'm not. I had a discussion with another friend, the Instagrams recently, about like how like a really super fast moving, like bolting spider kind of makes us all go on the inside,
Yeah. Mhm.
you know, like no matter whether or not you've been afraid your whole life or not, you know, it just kind of something in us just goes, oh, I don't like that. And anyway, so when you see a big spider moving fast and like it, in an unpredictable way, it can seem really scary, but in reality, you kind of train your brain to understand that they're just looking for food. Like they're just trying to munch on whatever it is they can get their hands on that's near them. And so just don't put
Yeah.
your fingers in there. But like, yeah, you learn to anticipate this stuff and then it becomes less intimidating over time.
Yeah, what you said about like just movement is food probably like and you make
Or
the movement. So
exactly, or a threat, right? So it's
mm.
like it's one or the other. And so like if you're a threat, they have to defend themselves. And then that's when you're going to see like the threat postures and the slapping and that type of behavior
Slapping.
that,
Wait,
yeah, it's like,
go back, go back.
okay. So I slapping is basically what you know how like tarantulas, when they're mad or afraid, let's say, or feeling defensive, they'll put all of their paws up. I call them paws because they're cute.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
they'll
Mhm.
raise up all of their legs and they'll kind of bare their fangs and be like, stay away from me. I'm going to bite you. So something else they'll kind of add to that threat display to make them seem more intimidating is they'll kind of slap the ground in front of them. And sometimes it'll be like accompanied with a bite. And then sometimes it's just a slap on the ground to be like, don't mess with. But
Whoa.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Honestly, it's like, oh, this is like chills down the spine. But it's like, how powerful are they? It's like really neat. But at the same time, like it's one of those things where once you understand it for what it is, though, it can be much less intimidating, you know,
Mhm. Yeah,
once
is
you
that
get it. But
totally? Is that because like, the vibration is that for other spiders' benefit, do you think? Like the
oh
slapping?
yeah, I'd
Or
imagine so. Like I think like either way, I think it's them showing what they can do and saying like, hey, get away from me. Like I'm going
mm.
to bite you, and this is how fast I can do it. Like it's like a warning.
Yeah.
But I'm also like certain that like I know that like tarantulas communicate through tapping and like drumming their feet,
Mhm.
their legs and stuff like that. So that's definitely possible.
That's
You know, it's like their way of like throwing their, you know, it reminds me of like an
yeah.
elephant, like rearing up on its like hind legs, you know, and then coming down there. I mean, like, get away. I don't know, man. I don't know what made me think of elephants, but
Dude, zebras escaped the other day. I saw it on the news.
from
They were
where?
being from the zoo,
What?
but
Which zoo?
so it was
The
in
zebras?
Washington. Yeah, and this is so cute. The New York Times article, the headline is Last of Escaped Zebras Captured with White Bread, Oats, and Positivity. And that's in quotes. What did they do? Like murmur to it, like, I'm here. And one of them was named Shug, just so you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
Shug.
they were being transported, but from what I remember, whoever was transferring them, he just didn't close it all the way or something.
Oh, shoot. Whoops.
Yeah.
Somebody's fired.
It's like the guy who killed the Baltimore Bridge. Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Well, not
Oh.
that wasn't one guy. That was like, yeah, never mind. Hi. So you mentioned that you got your first old world. When was that?
Oh, yes. Okay. So
Uh-oh.
this was, it's been like a month now, I think. Maybe it's been like 3 weeks. I don't know. It feels like it's been a long time. But either way, I acquired three of them, which is a little crazy, but either way,
Sounds
it's all
normal.
good.
No, that's
Yeah, like in the spider realms. Anyway,
yeah.
so I wound up getting two OBT slings, which is
Mm.
also known as the orange bitey thing, but it's the
Mm.
OBTs. It's short for orange baboon tarantula. Yeah, and they're really, 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 really beautiful spiders. When they reach adulthood, they turn this beautiful like golden orange color. But they've also been like super stigmatized for their bad attitudes, basically. And people say like, even in the common name orange bitey thing, right? Like it kind of gives you a sense of like their what you've got on your hands in terms of like behavior. But like the funny thing is like mine are tiny babies. So like honestly, like the way that I handled unpacking them and getting them into their enclosures in retrospect was pretty hilarious because I did everything essentially right. But I also did
Do
a
you have
couple of things.
goggles?
No, luckily not. Like
Okay.
I honestly, dude, I'd be more likely to wear goggles, and I have them, and I will
Mm.
wear them for rehousings of like some of my New World species that kick a lot of
Ooh.
hairs that are known to be really bad. I
Uh,
don't want to expose my eyeballs to that.
How did you do it then? Like you said in retrospect, it was over the top ish. Is that what you?
Well, my behavior was over the top. I kind of wish I
Oh.
had it on film. It was funny, but basically, like they come in the little vials, like packed with paper towel and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I did not listen, and I opened the vial outside of the enclosure
Oh,
because I
like
was
a
just like,
jumping
if I
spider.
yeah, I was like, if I just do it really calmly, it'll be fine. And it was not fine. And the thing came flying out and just went for a boogie in a big circle. And luckily, I had like this big plastic bin, that
Mm.
like you can kind of use as like a giant catch all almost so that you don't like lose your old world venomous spider in your house, right? So
Okay.
that's what I had done. And so like it kind of ran a lap around the outside of the bin and then stopped. And
Mm.
I had Matt with me for moral support. But at that point I like was pacing the room. I was like, oh my God, I'm messing this up. I'm messing this up. Like I felt like I was failing at life as a human being. And I was so
Oh.
nervous about this. And like in retrospect though, it like everything was fine, right? Like the baby spider was contained and
Mhm.
everything was okay. I had my eyeballs on it and I worked out a plan how to get it into its enclosure and I did and everything was okay. But like I think there's really something to be said for those moments of like just I don't know what to call it, like the eek moment almost of like
Panic. Yeah.
yeah, of like when you've got like a bolting tarantula on your hands, like how do you contain your inner
Yeah.
schoolgirl from like screaming? I don't know. It's
Uh,
really it's a fun balance to try and keep.
did you make a sound or squeak or anything like that? Or
So with the first one, I definitely did because with the first one, I got super lucky and I went to open the vial and it just kind of like jumped out into the, I was like, oh, and it just jumped right into the enclosure and hid. I was like, perfect. And but
mm.
like as soon as it came out, I was like, oh, because I wasn't expecting it, you know? But
Wow.
with the other one, I think when it was running laps, I think I was just going, okay, 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 okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know. Like it's just one of those things you learn with experience. But it's been an adventure so far. It's interesting because like now I have them. They're both in their enclosures. They've like made their little homes in there with like their tunnels and their webbing and stuff like that. And I haven't seen them in quite some time. I keep dropping food in, it disappears. But it's so interesting because it's like this is supposed to be this dangerous, scary thing, but it's just a cup of dirt with a really cool pet inside. I don't know, man. Tangent. So far,
No,
so
that's
good.
not. It's not
So
a
far, so
tangent. In retrospect, like after talking to you the first time, I think I sounded kind of like a dick when it was like, "What's the fun part?"
no, you didn't. That
Because
was
I
so funny.
once you get used to jumping spiders and like and being able to bother them most of the time, because they're usually, if they're not in their hammock for a couple of weeks, they're somewhere. So,
Exactly.
so that's what bothers me about tarantulas, because everybody makes them sound like they're just always away from view, or if they are in view, you can't pet them.
The not being able to pet them part definitely is a struggle.
Mm.
Like that instinct in me, like especially with my curly hair Tina, Like
Mhm.
she's just like so floofy looking and I want to know what she feels like. But I also know that if I petted her, I would be very, 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 very itchy and she wouldn't
Oh
like it.
shit.
So it's, you know what I
Oh
mean? Like,
shit.
so it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's worth it not to know.
So that's what she
But
feels like. Ouchie and
she was
itchy.
probably just, yeah, itchy, probably very itchy. I mean, like, that's just, yeah. But anyways,
So that's one thing Orange Floof in her age. She had periods where she hated me. And even if I made eye contact with her, she would like hide. And now, yeah, and now that she is like on her deathbed, I can actually pet her. I was just curious if she would let me yesterday. And, given that they're so much smaller than we are, like you have to be sure that it's air pet. Because even that, like,
yeah, dude, it's
yeah, like if
so,
you
I've
try to
like,
actually, yeah,
difference between pet and squish. You have to be so careful.
but an air pet, you still get pet, and she actually just stayed.
No. It's so funny how like their temperament can and personalities can change so much from molt to molt.
I don't know how I won her over finally. I guess in her old age and wisdom, she realized that I rule. Dude, last night though, I put her into a juvenile enclosure that's probably like 3 by 4.
Oof, yeah. That's always the rough transition
Yeah,
to make.
I know, but if she's gonna fall, because she did
Yeah, no,
fall,
for sure.
yeah, she fell in her own enclosure, and I learned this the hard way. If you ever use like the fake air plants type of things in your enclosures, and you have a senior spood, if they fall into that, they will be like, like a Looney Tunes cartoon where they like fall and their like legs are sticking into their.
Yeah, fuck, man.
Yeah, I looked into her enclosure and she was head first, like
Oh,
in
man.
in between the fake plant.
I'm
I
happy
was like,
you
oh,
like
she
noticed.
said, yeah, dude. I think she was just like, well, this is how I go.
Right? Can you even imagine?
You
Well,
know,
that's it.
just like in this plant from Michael's. I hope you used a coupon. Ugh. I feel a little better now though. Like if she does take a tumble, the bottom is just like completely moss with no decoration because she does
Good,
not
yeah.
care. We're at that stage, but
Oh man, it's the worst. Like
uh,
there's no way around it. But you're taking care of her.
anyway, let's not talk about orange flu for all
Yeah.
cry. But so you mentioned the two OBTs, but you said you got three. What's the third?
Yes. Okay, so the third one is like my dream. Well, it was my dream spider, but now I
Mhm.
have one, so I had to pick a new dream spider, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it's the Harpactira pulchripes, which is like what's their common name? I think it's the golden blue-legged baboon. And they're kind of similar to OBDs because they got like orange coloration, but they've got this like
Mm.
insanely cool blue stripe. It's like this steely grayish blue striping on their front legs or all their legs, but just the fronts
Ooh,
of the legs. It's so
cool.
insanely cool. Like it looks like metal, like they're like metal plated or something. I can't even explain it. It's like just so unique looking, so beautiful. Yeah,
Shin
like
guards.
basically, yeah, like shin guards, but if shin guards were like cool and
Yeah.
furry and blue. I don't know, dude. Like it's the coolest thing ever. I just think they're so dope looking. But I got them from Juice.
Oh.
And so yeah, so it turned out that he had the H. pulchripes and I was like, I was like, am I ready to like bridge that gap from new worlds to old worlds? Like, and the big thing is like, people are like, only you know when you're ready, you know? Like, don't ask us. Only you.
Wow. Jesus, that makes it seem like a gigantic deal, but also like a dare, but also like
Yeah.
you're gonna have like awakening and be like ready. Like you catch
That's
the fire in your
literally,
hand.
yes, that's what it felt like for me. But like, that's because like everything is drama for me in my own mind. But that's a different thing. It's one of those things where everyone kind of learns at their own pace. I mean, that's true for all things in life. And some people can kind of jump in the deep end and figure it out and be fine. And then some people like don't really bother with research or anything like that and jump straight into like getting a piece of Lotheria.
That kind of like a bad decision.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad decision if you do your research and you're like prepared for like what could happen if it bites you, basically, which is bad things, and
Yeah.
it's intense. Like what can happen if an old world species bites you, depending, like it varies. Okay. Like,
Mhm.
but from what I've heard, I don't want any of my tarantulas to bite me, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm going to
Sounds
do
fair.
everything I can to kind of avoid that. But I don't know. Everyone kind of learns at their own pace. And like, I finally got to the point where I rehoused one of my spiders that was like, I was the most sort of intimidated by from the get go, since I got it as like a little tiny baby last year. And now it's like almost fully grown. They grow super, super fast. And it's an arboreal species, and I don't know why. It just always made me feel, it was always super scary to me. And then I just went and did a rehouse of it a month or two ago into a new, taller enclosure. And like
Mm.
the rehouse went so smoothly. And like,
Yeah.
I even got a pretty significant like threat display at the beginning, because I was just trying to kind of, we were like down in the corner of the old,
Mhm.
and like the old home. And I came in too hot with the paintbrush and
Oh
started to just be
no.
like, get out of the corner. And they were like, what the hell? And like threw up the threat pose at me, and
Yeah.
deservedly. And it's so
Mhm.
funny because like I filmed it. And when I went back and watched that part, like I just sort of, I was like really proud of myself, because
Mhm.
my response to that, which would have really scared me, 6 months to a year ago, I would have been like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm not messing with this thing.
Mm.
I just like, I sat down and I just said, I know.
I know.
Like I was talking to a little baby, and like,
Aw.
I waited for them to calm down, and then we tried again, and they did this like adorable side shuffle thing and walked calmly into their new house, and everything was totally chill.
You
You
reasoned
know,
with the tarantula.
it felt like such a big accomplishment. It was like a big learning experience too, because it's like, even these ones that I've been so intimidated by, I've heard like they have a nasty bite, and they're not, they're quick to bite, they're very fast, all of these things, super defensive, so just watch out.
Mhm.
And it really wasn't that hard to read its body language, like
Yeah.
throughout the entire process. And I really didn't feel scared at all. It was, I don't know, it was just really cool.
I wonder if you were like in a bit of a flow state, so it didn't even occur to you to get scared until afterwards. Because you mentioned like watching the video and you were like, "Oh my god."
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
didn't.
it's funny.
Huh.
I think you're right too, because like once you kind of get into that situation, it's like once the process of like the rehouse sort of begins, it's like you're in a zone, like you're
Mhm.
focused, or at least you try to be, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody does it different, but yeah,
I mean, there's no reason to rehouse when you're feeling really anxious and shitty. Like,
exactly. And
you know what I
like,
should do right now?
right. And like, oh my God, it's been such a nice lesson for me. Cause like I almost impulsively did that rehousing the night before. Cause I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. And I like stopped myself, which I'm not someone who has had the best self control in life. And
Yeah.
so it's been really healthy for me to have to exercise that a little bit and like
Mhm.
flex that muscle and be like, Amy, wait, like
Ye-
let's get some sleep. Let's do it tomorrow. And she's not going anywhere, and like it ended up going so much better than I'm sure it would have if I had done it like impulsively. And so it's like this, it's almost like willpower in a way where it's like, no, 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 no. Slow down, do it
Yeah.
tomorrow. But I think it's also good to learn, it's like, oh, cool. This is another kind of life skill of mine that could use some honing. It's so funny, the stuff that like we learn to tolerate for the spiders. Like when I started making my own fruit fly cultures, and like now occasionally like I'll check on them and I'll look at them and be like, man, this one's really taken off. And I'm like, what am I doing? You are looking at a plastic thing filled with like, Amy. It's like you gotta go
uh,
get your kids from school. Be like, hi, Linda. You know what I mean? Like I was just looking
yeah.
at my fruit fly culture. Like what? I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like just one little shift in
Yeah.
perspective can change so much.
Everything. But also,
Everything.
fruit flies. it's kind of hard to tell, like, is this a freaking grain mite or is this just a poop?
Yes, dude,
Dude,
100% grain mites.
I fucking
Ugh.
hate them. I don't know if this will help you out, but some of the advice that I read online as far as grain mites, I don't know how you feel about this, but it was like throw out your culture after 4 weeks, so a month. Do you do that? Or?
Huh. That's how I mean, like, I don't know. I just kind of eyeball it and then I'm like, this is
Yeah.
done, you
Yeah,
know?
I'd have never timed it because especially is that 4 weeks after it's producing. It doesn't say. Not
That's a
anyway.
really good point. Yeah, like 4 weeks after when that first big boom takeoff, whatever that's called.
The other one, though, I thought this was interesting, is to circle a suspected grain mite with paint marker or something like that,
Hmm.
and then the next day see if it's still in that circle.
Ooh,
Because they move,
that's,
so yeah,
yeah. Huh.
if it's a poop, it will still be there. Yeah, and I guess the other thing, if you have horrific outbreak, I guess, grain
Yeah.
mites, on the fruit fly culture itself, it'll feel chalky
Oh,
because
dude, I didn't know
they'll,
that.
yeah, and now that I know that, like, I went to the store to get fruit flies today and they felt kind of chalky, and I was like, oh no.
Oh,
But
geez, that's crazy. I didn't know. This is like really good knowledge. Do you
see,
put that? Oh my God, what's it called? The diatomaceous earth, like down in
dude,
between your cultures, or is that like not a thing?
I was told to do that from a friend, and she said what she does is like get a big tub, like a shallow tub,
Hmm.
put that in the bottom, and put all the fruit fly cultures in there, but like not touching each other.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like separated. So that's
However,
kind of what I'm doing, but not really, because they're just in a cabinet. But then I just like sprinkled the D around on the floor around each one and was just kind of like, nobody shall pass.
okay, dude, actually didn't even know what that was until she told me to do it. But I was told by a boyfriend that he said that it's the white stuff in soil and it works by cutting their legs or something. Is
Oh my
is he
goodness.
just making shit up and I believe him because he sounded sure? Or is
I
that
have
what it?
no actual idea, but I would love to know for fact. I mean, I don't know. All I know is just I don't want them like
Whoa.
crossing between you know. I don't know. I was
Mm.
just like I read somewhere to put it down, so I was like I'm gonna use this stuff.
I bought some and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill them, fuck them.
I'm gonna
Um,
do it.
Okay, I'm not gonna fuck them, but when you lift the culture out, is it stuck to the bottom at all? Like, could I be doing some, cross contamination of it?
I mean, maybe that's totally possible too. Because like I've never really, I use just like a 32-ounce deli cup.
Mm.
I don't know why, but like I find the method of literally just like like tapping them from the culture into the same size empty cup and then just like doling them out from the cup is pretty effective and efficient for me.
Oh wow, yeah.
Um,
I just can't get over the possibility of like accidentally maybe getting it on my hand or something, and then
yeah, dude. That's why like I love gloves so much. I like that's why I'm always, almost always, so often wearing gloves. Mostly with tarantulas though.
I might give it a try just because I'm very, very, very scared of grain mites, especially when it comes to my communal slings, because
Yes, 100%.
they would roughly be like the size of a communal sling, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
So
just
when
I mean,
can I
yeah.
eat them? Could the slings eat the grain mites? I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, ooh, ooh, can I tell you something terrible?
Sure. Always.
This is a bummer. So Goo, the black one with the rainbow
Yep.
shells, she had two babies that somehow got out, even though they're like not old enough to yet.
Right.
So I found one and I put it in a cup. Later on that day, another one, and
Oh,
it told me, yeah, luckily it's only been those two. But
okay, good.
I put it in the cup with the other one, and I was just looking at them because, that's what you do. And
Oh yeah.
the one that was in the cup originally just pounced on it and ate it.
Dude, I bore witness to that shit one time
I've
because
never,
yeah, it was awful to see. It sucked so bad. I've only
it's
seen
like,
that happen once.
Dude, they were the
I know.
same size, though. I don't
I
know.
know. It's crazy. It's like, what the fuck? I thought like, okay, I was trying to keep them in like smaller groups for a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Yeah, and I had that happen with one on one of my smaller groups, and I was like, nope, 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 nope. We're just gonna do one in cups, like
Oh
after
my
we
god.
take them out of like their whole communal. Yeah, because it was just like I'm not gonna risk that happening because it just sucks so bad to watch it. Even though, well, they probably do this shit to survive in the wild, and like they're just like
Yeah.
whatever, man. Like they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But like for us, we're like, no.
I can't believe it with how young they were. That like
Yeah,
they're
like
already
little babies like eating each other. It's about as metal as it gets. It's horrible, but
near, 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 near. I gave a spontaneous spider fact earlier, but Amy, do you have one for us?
okay,
Cool spider
I
fact.
yes.
Sorry.
Okay, well I mean like this is kind of similar to like along the same line of like what's fun about it. But
Hmm.
I was doing a deeper dive today and doing some research on like different types of urticating hairs. And like, I don't, I can't go into detail on the differences between all the different types, but I can tell you that there are at least five of them. And
Oh,
they're
wow.
all like, yeah, like type one, type two, type three, type four, type five. And like
Hmm.
different ones can affect people differently, but that's not even the fun fact. Okay. Today I learned that the genus Aphibopus, which what a mouthful, but basically the skeleton leg tarantula and the blue fang tarantula are two that I have in my collection that are from this particular group of spiders, whatever you would call it. And anyways, the skeleton legs can shoot their urticating hairs off of their pedipalps.
Whoa.
And like they're the only ones, I guess Aphibopus are the only ones who can do that. So
Do they?
be careful.
Huh. Does it grow back?
This is the thing about like the pedipalp is weird because most of them just have it on their bums and like they'll kick it off till
Mm.
they're literally bald. Like you could see, looks like a little man's bald head in their butt. It's so cute. It's just like a normal flesh toned skin underneath there. But anyway,
That's a good spider fact because it made me curious. Like, you know how humans have different hair types? It made me
yes.
curious. Like, are some of the hairs they can flick like more curly, but or not even that, but like
Yeah.
maybe not as coarse or
Yeah, they like
yeah.
have like I know they like kind of I think they look different and I know that they have like barbs on them. So I think they have like different
Okay.
amounts of little barbs and stuff, like they're different
Oh
shapes.
my god.
And that's why I will be wearing my science goggles and my gloves. I
It's
don't care.
smart.
Yeah, I've never been a scientist and
Really?
this is the closest I'll ever be. Really? Can you
That's
believe
the
that?
only reason we have you on here. Just in case people want to find you online. Where should they look?
On Instagram, you can find me at Amy Keeps Arachnids and same thing on TikTok, except it's Amy underscore keeps underscore arachnids or something
Well,
like that, I think.
have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next week on Tuesday.